So, how often do private money lenders actually check on their loans? Great question. So, we're going to go over a few things here because I don't want to create an annoyance, right? I don't want you to become an annoying private money lender. So, we're going to go over one, why daily monitoring of private money loans is completely unnecessary. Two, what kind of monitoring systems you can create. And three, just how to maintain your nerves throughout the life of your first loan, because I know it can be nerve wracking, right? So, the first thing here, daily monitoring is totally and completely unnecessary, okay? And first of all, there's not even enough to monitor on a daily basis, to be honest, right? So, you have done your due diligence, you put in the work in the beginning, you have secured your loan, you've set up a payment system, and it's really just about making sure that the payments are made on time, right? And the project is progressing as it's supposed to progress, okay? Now, in that fix and flip loan example, if the payment is due at the end, you may be wondering, like, well, then when is appropriate for me to check on the loan? And that is really a conversation between you and the borrower, right? This is very collaborative type of business, okay? Now, you, before you give the money, should be having those conversations with the investor. Like, what is reasonable for you in terms of check ins, right? Because I can promise you, if you become one of those people who is calling every day, texting every day, you will become annoying very quickly, right? And they'll never want to work with you again. And that sucks, right? Because repeat borrowers are the best, okay? Because you already know their business, you already know them, you're familiar with their style, you're familiar with their work product. Excellent. Okay, so we want repeat borrowers. So do not annoy the borrower by contacting them every single day and just being a nervous wreck. Okay, trust in the process, trust in your due diligence, trust in your training. Okay, the second thing here is you can set up systems to help you. Now, even with me, I do lump sum payments and balloon payments at the end. I still have systems for checking in with the borrower, right? Now, depending on who it is, I try to adapt my system to kind of work around their system. So, for instance, I have someone who likes to check in on a weekly basis. Okay, they like phone calls. I'm not really a fan of phone calls, right? So we do a hybrid version. So a quick phone call, a follow up on WhatsApp with a bunch of photos and videos. I kind of like to have things I can refer back to, and I find that phone calls are difficult for me to refer back to. And this borrower does not like emails, right? So that couldn't be an option, even though I would have loved that, but that's not going to be an option for them. Other borrowers have much more complex systems, right? So I know a borrower who's an investor who has a dashboard, and they have the ability to invite multiple users. So they can have like 10 projects going, and each lender has their own dashboard, and they can come and they can see how the project's going because they're going in weekly or having their staff go in weekly and updating the project. Beautiful, right? We love that. I have another investor who is a general contractor, and they have a completely different system. They love to send long videos. I'm talking about long form videos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes videos that can't even fit in a text message. So they're sending links to the video, and it's addressed specifically to me, right? It's like, hey Ashley, this is what's going on, blah blah blah. We're doing this. Oh, the workers are over there, they're doing that. Oh, watch out, blah blah. Like, it's literally on site, and I'm like, wow, very interesting. So everyone has a different way of doing things. I like to set calendar alerts. Like, if I feel like there's certain things that I want to check on during the project, maybe concerns that came up during the due diligence phase, I will set those calendar alerts at the beginning of the loan, right? So right around closing time, setting those alerts for me to follow up on this specific thing, make sure we got over that hump or whatever. Like, for instance, there was a fix and flip where there was a tree and the root appeared to be growing under the house, right? And so this was something that we were concerned about and had set aside a huge contingency budget for in the loan funds. And so I had a note to check up on this, like, hey, what's the status on this? Has a conclusion been made? What's going to be the cost? Blah, 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 right? And so you can always set up your own systems for, doing special check-ins, but really communication with the borrower is going to be your best bet. I know I keep saying that over and over again, but that's really going to be the best way to keep your nerves calm. And in terms of just making sure you're not a nervous wreck throughout this process, you really got to take care of yourself, okay? If you have done your part, like you have done the education, you have vetted the borrower, you've used your team and they've worked with you to vet the borrower and the deal and the project and the owner of the borrower and all these things, right? You've done everything you can. You've secured the loan. You've over secured the loan, right? Like you have the proper documentation. You hired the right people. Just trust in what you've done, okay? And I know the first one is the scariest. I'm really talking to people who are doing their very first loan, right? The first one is the scariest because you're just like, I've never given this amount of money to anybody, right? Even if it's in your retirement account, it's like, it's still my money, right? And so it can be scary, but just trust in what you've done and breathe, right? That's understated, but I have been there. I've been very anxious in my first loan. I had the complete opposite reaction. I was not checking in all the time. I was being very quiet and not telling anybody what I was doing because I was nervous and scared and I felt foolish. So there is some of that, but just trust in the process, trust in the work that you've put in, and just wait for that repayment and you're gonna feel totally different. Okay. Then you're gonna see the light and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do it again. Right. So just hold on until you get to that point.